YouTube, what's going on, y'all? It's Pick Saber here, and welcome to another video. Really quickly, before I get into today's video topic, I want to remind you if you're new here, go check out my introductory video where I go into detail about what type of content to expect on the channel. But without further ado, let's talk some Big 12 football. So, Big 12 Media Days just wrapped up a few days ago. At this event, all the Big 12 head coaches voted on a poll on who they think will win the conference. And surprisingly, BYU won the poll, which we all know was really out of pettiness due to the Brendan Sorsby situation. Because when taking a look at this conference, it's very clear who the favorite should be, as Texas Tech is more talented than any other team in this conference by a pretty wide margin. And the market does reflect that sentiment, but at the same time, as a professional bettor, your job is to find inefficiencies within the market. And according to my projections, this number is still short at minus 105. Now, I was able to grab the same bet at plus 105 a couple months ago, but at minus 105, this is still a plus EV wager. Now, this line has bounced back and forth in the market due to Brendan Sorsby losing his eligibility and then getting it back through an injunction, which led to the eventual parting of ways between Texas Tech and Brendan Sorsby. Nevertheless, I still make Texas Tech the considerable favorite to win this conference with or without Brendan Sorsby, as my projections make the fair price minus 128, which is a win probability of around 56%. So with that said, let's dive into this roster and break down the personnel unit by unit. The Red Raiders bring back some essential pieces that provide continuity, starting with the offensive line, which may be Joey McGuire's deepest blocking unit since he's been at Texas Tech, headlined by center Sheridan Wilson and significant returners like Jacob Ponton, Holton Hendricks, and Ellis Davis. The offensive backfield returns experienced depth as well, with Cameron Dickey and Jacoby Williams, while Coy Eakin returns as a primary target at wide receiver, providing a reliable veteran presence for the passing game. The secondary sees the return of key leaders such as Brendan Jordan and Bryce Pollock, who provide continuity in the defensive backfield, and linebacker Ben Roberts returns to anchor the middle of the defense. After holding their opponents to just 11.8 points per game last season, the Red Raiders aggressively reloaded in the transfer portal to replace key departures, bringing in high-level talent to support the returning core and maintain their defensive identity. The staff brought in a new wave of pass rushers and defensive linemen, including Trey White, a San Diego State transfer, Adam Trick, a Maryland transfer, Mateen Ebrogba, a Wake Forest transfer, and Bryce Butler, another Wake Forest transfer. The wide receiver core was bolstered by additions like Malcolm Simmons, an Auburn transfer, and Kenny Johnson, a Pittsburgh transfer, who had explosive potential to the perimeter. Jordan Church, a Louisville transfer, provides additional competition and depth on the offensive line, while the additions of Austin Romaine, a Kansas State transfer, and Corey Platt Jr., a Utah transfer, add significant experience to the linebacker room alongside the returning starters. Joey McGuire has established a winning culture in Lubbock, and now headed into year 5, he has led the Red Raiders to 4 straight winning records in the conference. Having won 9 conference games by 22 or more points in 2025, this team has proven that they can dominate the Big 12. And with Brendan Sorsby officially out of the picture, the spotlight has now shifted to Will Hammond. Unlike Sorsby, who had to learn a new scheme, Hammond is familiar with the team's culture and playbook. He knows the system inside and out. The primary concern is his recovery from his ACL tear, with reports suggesting he is on track to be cleared for 7-on-7 drills by late August. His expected return provides the team with a higher ceiling. If he can step in and manage the offense effectively, they should be just fine at the quarterback position. And I have no doubts that he can deliver, as Hammond has already demonstrated his ability to play the position well. Last year, he saw significant snaps in relief of Barry Morton, most notably against Utah, when he completed 13 of 16 passes for 169 yards and 2 touchdowns in a single half. That performance earned him Big 12 freshman and Offensive Player of the Week honors. The roster also features plenty of quarterback depth, with several younger signal callers who are competing for backup roles, including Kirk Francis, Lloyd Jones III, Stephen Cannon, and Holden Phillips. This amount of depth at the quarterback position could help prevent the bottom from falling out if Will Hammond is unable to stay healthy throughout the year, which is really my only concern, as I have Tech projected as double-digit favorites in every single game on their schedule. So needless to say, there's definitely a path to the Big 12 championship game for Texas Tech, and at that point, it would just be about them getting the job done. Now, on the national scale, I do feel like Texas Tech should be considered a national title contender even without Brennan Sorsby. Last year, I just felt like they met their match in the playoffs when they ran into Oregon. And I personally had Oregon money line in that game, so I wasn't really shocked by the outcome. As that Oregon defensive front was just nasty and was just a bad matchup for Texas Tech overall. I think people are putting too much stock into this whole Brennan Sorsby ordeal. This team still has an extremely high ceiling, even without him on the roster. At the very least, they should win the Big 12 and make the CFP once again. And this group may be able to rally around the negative publicity that surrounded the Brennan Sorsby situation. I mean, look at what happened at Media Days. You basically got the entire conference saying, we don't respect y'all. And I wouldn't expect Tech to take that lightly, as I'm sure they're using it as a source of motivation inside the locker room. But those are my overall thoughts on the Big 12. If you enjoyed today's video, drop a like, subscribe to the channel, and be on the lookout for more videos, as I plan to bring more and more content leading up until week 0. But until then, I'll see y'all when I see y'all. Pick Saban, clocking out.